the epic floods in southern Louisiana expected to get worse today.
Overnight, the number of people being rescued nearly tripled in size to 20,000. Parts of the area received over 20 inches of rain since Friday.
And this new video, take a look. A boat full of people making its way through a flooded street, only car roofs peeking above the water. ABC's Ray Ramundi has the latest.
This drone video giving a snapshot of parts of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, submerged underwater. U.S. National Guard helicopters swooping in to rescue this man and this little boy from the rising floodwaters, just two of the more than 20,000 rescued in southern Louisiana. The federal government officially declaring Louisiana as a major disaster.
Obviously, this remains a very serious event, a historic flooding, and it remains ongoing.
Cars submerged underwater.
I'm gonna break this window.
Dramatic rescues like this one captured all across southern Louisiana.
Give a dog. Her dog. Give a dog.
This man rescuing a woman after her convertible sunk underneath the rising waters. Interstate 12, a major highway, now a makeshift river, complete with the 10-mile stretch of abandoned cars.
But as you can see behind me, a lot of the interstate's actually flooded. We've been here for about 30 hours now.
The National Guard moving in to rescue those trapped. More than 10,000 people now in shelters. This woman lucky to escape the floods with her two daughters.
I just wanted to get out. I'm like, it's not gonna stop. Once I started coming up my steps, I'm like, I didn't plan on it getting this high. We gotta get out. Like, my kids gotta be safe.
In the midst of the disaster, extraordinary acts of courage from flood victims.
Get out.
Oh, Lord.
Neighbor helping neighbor, some delivering water, others passed out food. Ray Ramundi, ABC News, New York.
Not really, because my mom actually saw we have a ditch behind our house, so it started overflowing, so that's how we just packed everything that we thought it was important to us, but we wasn't really able to pack enough stuff. So we went to Gonzales, stayed there for 2-3 hours, and then all the hotels was booked. And then we came back down airline. They had one motel that was one room, so we all just stayed in that one room until like for 2 days. Then my uncle owns an apartment complex, so he was able to host us in an apartment complex until today. I'm still living in an apartment complex until our house gets totally fixed.
Not at all. I wasn't prepared here by myself. Because a natural disaster away from my family, I was really scared here by myself because I didn't know if my car was going to flood. I couldn't get home to my family because everything was shut down. My family definitely wasn't prepared where we were. We live in the country, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but no, not at all. I was scared. I wanted to go home to my mama. I didn't like it.
I was prepared for a flood, being that I had a plan set up for a worst case scenario, which allowed me to save a few vital things. And my advice to anybody in the future, if future flood happens, have a boat on hand just in case, and have a high vehicle.
It didn't really affect me because my truck was saved, so it was just like my materialistic, all my shoes, all my clothes was gone, so I had to go to the mall and just pick, some clothing, some jeans. Other than that, like, I just had to have that mind mentality to just to stay focused, even though I lost everything. But that don't mean, life is over. So everything worked out.
School, I had moved in on campus before the flood had really occurred, so I was stuck here the entire time it was going on. So I already moved in, and I really didn't lose anything back at home. So school was okay. It affected work because, of course, like everything around here was shut down, so I couldn't go to work for like a good 2 weeks maybe. So I didn't get paid, obviously. So that was the only way it affected there.
Well, being this my last semester, I have not that many classes, so it really had no effect on my schooling.
This was one of the biggest disasters I ever impacted in my life. Other than Gustav was really just a bunch of trees that fell and I was out of power, but this one was really the biggest. It was something that I'm still shocked today because I lost my house. Thank God I didn't lost my car, but all the things that I lost is materialistic, so those things can be replaced. But other than that, the most important thing is, I didn't lose my, my family. So, that is like one of the stuff that you can't replace. And I know like a couple people lost, their family members and stuff. So I just give out God the glory.
Yes, it definitely was. We had the small ones, like the small little hurricanes that occurred where we just have to leave. It really didn't do anything like as worse as like actually flooding. It might be a couple trees fell, a couple shingles off the house that came down, but that was it.
No, it was not, but this was the first encounter dealing with flooding. Living through many hurricanes throughout life, nothing like this never happened before.
The impact of my whole neighborhood, my whole street was, they lost everything. Our house was kind of big, so we pretty much lost everything. It was like 3.5 inches in our house, so we had to throw everything away. But good that we had flood insurance. So we're at this moment we're trying to make sure we get all our money so we'll be able to repair everything that we lost. But other than that, everything can be really replaced.
Here with my car and everything, nothing at all. Back at home though, it flooded my grandparents' house. The floor area, we just lost a couple things. We lost my mom's Cadillac, sadly, our favorite car. Everything else was pretty much okay. So really my grandparents' house and a car we missed, so that was it.
My house had 3 feet of water, so pretty much it destroyed most of the furniture and the appliances, and a couple of clothes, but some of the clothes I able to save.
So they gave us like a cell phone TV warning, but it wasn't really like to where we have to evacuate immediately. It was like every man for yourself. So when the water started rising, we told upon ourselves to leave because it wasn't safe. So so it was really like we chose to leave because some people didn't leave. Some people didn't want to leave their home and their variable things behind, but all those materialistic things which you can really replace. But other than that, warning when the waters really start rising in different areas to like 4 or 5 feet, then they, told the whole city, parish, we have to evacuate or you will die. So.
To be honest, you can say yes, but you can also say no, because us down here in Louisiana, we're thinking flood, it's really not going to affect us. Nothing has ever came down that bad before. So normally we just ignore the warning signs because we don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So because of us ignoring it so easily, I don't even remember the actual warning signs, so I don't even know.
Well, probably one. But in terms of the rise in the water, it was like out of nowhere. It just came up rapidly, being that it started in Clinton, but the water just rushed down to our neighborhood kind of fast. So a lot of people were asleep when it happened, and it caught a lot of people off guard. Many of us were trapped, so most of us had to walk through the water to high grounds and stuff like that.
While the flooding may be over in Louisiana, renters and homeowners who do not have flood insurance are facing an uncertain financial future. Private insurers do not cover flood damage, and flood insurance in the United States is underwritten by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Homeowners who live in designated high-risk flood zones are required to carry flood insurance if they have a federally backed mortgage. According to FEMA, an estimated 42% of homes in high-risk areas have flood insurance in Louisiana. Only 12.5% of homeowners in low and moderate risk zones do. However, most of the areas hit hard by record rainfall last week were not considered at high risk for flooding. Those residents without flood insurance are eligible for up to $33,000 in FEMA Individual Disaster Assistance Funds, although most will likely receive less than that based on payments following other major disasters.